Hello everyone. This is going to be a short video for the second paper for our class. So the second paper is a little bit different than the first paper because we cover two topics in the second paper. So I gave you a different way to do it. I allowed you some creative freedom with this in order to tie the two topics together if you want to. However, if you are not inclined to be creative, that's fine too. You can just do a small research paper on both topics. So, for this paper, you can choose, if you choose the creative part, you can choose time travel or finding some journals or diaries. Either one is fine. What I mean by that is, for instance, you found or were given a time machine or something like that, and you travel back in time to these two different topics that you're going to choose, either people, places, events, ideas, whatever it is, and then you tell me about what you see. Or you found like a box of journals talking about these two topics that you're going to choose. Either way is fine. However you set it up for the creative part is fine too. You don't need to focus too much on the creative aspect because I will still just be grading your content that you give me. So make sure you give me plenty of content because each topic is 2 to 3 pages, so you want to make sure you give me enough content to grade. The whole paper is 4 to 6 pages, and it is worth 230 points, so it's worth quite a bit more than the first paper. And if you do not pass this second paper, then the highest you can make is a D in the class. So just make sure you're doing it, and if you have any questions about it, you are asking me. But the first topic is between the American Revolution and the 1850s-ish, because some of these topics can overlap. For instance, if you want to choose the gold rush for your first topic, it really starts in 1849 but goes through the 1850s. So that kind of covers that era, but also goes into the second topic era, but that's fine too, however you want to do it. And then the second topic must go from the 1850s-ish through the Civil War up into the 1880s, because some of the aspects of like the Reconstruction and stuff goes into the 1880s. So it just depends on which topic you pick. But it needs to be something that at least covers after the 1850s and up until the 1880s. What else? So for this paper, make sure that your font size, 12-point font Times New Roman, is preferred. The reason I mention that now is because some chose a font for the first paper that just took up space. Really didn't give me much content, but the font was 12-point, but it was really big, and you were just filling space. So don't do that. And the double spacing, make sure you're not putting extra space in your paper just to fill up, try to get to that bottom of that page count, because you're still going to get at least a point deducted for it. So don't do it. Just give me the content. If you can't make it to that bottom of the fourth page at least, well, we can go from there, but just don't give me extra space in your paper. And when I say that, 4 to 6 pages, so each part is 2 to 3 pages. And when I say that, I mean the content that you give me, the actual historical content, must go to the bottom of that second page. So if you are doing the creative aspect, you probably need to go on to the third page so that you are giving me enough content to grade. So yeah, let's do that. And for each topic, you have to give me 1 primary and 2 secondary sources, just like you did on the first paper, but this time you're just, doing 2 topics instead of 1. So you have to use at least 2 primary and 4 secondary for the whole paper. You do not have to separate your paper into part 1 or part 2. I just did that on the paper 2 specs to show you, what's needed. And of course your specifications are found under the content and papers section to go over them. Also, the rubric is there. The example of a paper, second paper, I did a small example. It's not a full paper, but you can get an idea of what it looks like. Now, on the endnotes or footnotes, it's still going to be Chicago style for this paper. So make sure you are giving me as much information as possible in either an endnote or footnote, not a references page or citations page or works cited page. Make sure you're doing endnotes or footnotes. And when I say the Chicago style, it is a format, but make sure you're giving me all parts of the citation. If there's an author's name, put the author's name, the title of the work, the title of the publisher, when it was published. If it is an online source, make sure that you are putting available from and the entire website. And also the date that you accessed it. And then when you put that date, you must put accessed on before that date, because that will separate it from a publication date. So I know that you accessed it on this date, not that it was published on this date. And try to put the most updated publication date. Especially on history.com, you will see like the original publication date, but you'll see updated on. Make sure to put the updated date so that I know the current one. And always, if you have any questions, just let me know. This is really not as hard as I'm making it to seem. It's very similar to the first paper. I just gave you a way to be creative with it, to write some historical fiction to make it a little bit more fun and liven it up a bit. But if you're having any difficulties with it, just let me know. And if trying to be creative is a little bit too much, you can still just write a regular research paper, because even if you choose a creative aspect, that's what it is that you are researching 2 topics and you are telling me what you found about them using primary and secondary sources. That is the goal of this assignment. Okay, any questions? Email me. Thanks.